To heal anxiety, it's essential to understand its true origins and how it manifests in the body. We often think of anxiety as a mental issue, something that originates in the mind and is only impacted by our thoughts. But the reality is far more complex. Anxiety is not just something that happens in your head. It starts in your body. When we talk about anxiety, we often overlook the physical symptoms: the racing heart, the tight chest, the shallow breath. All of these are signals from your body that something is out of balance. These physical reactions are your body's way of responding to stress, and they are often triggered by deep-rooted emotional or psychological factors that we may not even be fully aware of. Anxiety is a natural reaction to stress, but when it becomes chronic, it can severely affect your quality of life. It's important to understand that anxiety is a protective mechanism, part of the body's fight or flight response, designed to keep you safe. But when that response is triggered unnecessarily, it can spiral out of control, causing your nervous system to remain in a constant state of alert. Over time, this can lead to burnout, emotional exhaustion, and even physical illness. This is where the concept of emotional intelligence and body awareness comes into play. To heal anxiety, you must first understand the connection between your mind and body. It's crucial to recognize the signs and signals your body is sending you and how your mind's thought patterns amplify those responses. When your mind is overwhelmed with worries, fears, or past traumas, your body responds accordingly. By becoming more attuned to your body's sensations, you can begin to break this cycle. The first step is recognizing when you're in a heightened state of anxiety. For example, you may notice a racing heartbeat or shallow breathing. These are the early signs of anxiety, and by recognizing them, you can begin to take action before the anxiety escalates. Learning how to calm your body through mindful breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or grounding techniques can help you regain control in those moments. It's about learning to listen to your body, acknowledging the anxiety, and then responding with tools that help you shift into a more relaxed state. As you build awareness of your body's physical responses to anxiety, you begin to break the cycle of fear. Instead of letting anxiety take over, you gain the ability to manage it. This shift allows you to transform your relationship with anxiety, not as something to fear, but as something you can control. It's about understanding that anxiety is not an enemy to defeat, but a signal to be understood, a cue that something within you needs attention. Once you understand the connection between anxiety and your body's physical state, the next step is to develop practical tools that can help you manage and regulate anxiety effectively. One of the most powerful tools in anxiety healing is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. This therapeutic approach is based on the understanding that your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected. The way you think about a situation influences how you feel and act. For example, if you believe that a certain event will result in a negative outcome, you're more likely to feel anxious or fearful about it. Through CBT, you learn to identify and challenge these negative thought patterns, replacing them with more balanced and realistic perspectives. By engaging in CBT, you start to see that much of your anxiety stems from distorted thinking. It's not that the situations you're anxious about aren't real, but that your perception of them is often exaggerated. For example, thinking that a minor mistake at work will lead to failure is an example of catastrophic thinking, a common anxiety trigger. Through CBT, you learn to reframe these thoughts, gaining a more realistic perspective and reducing the intensity of your anxiety. Another effective tool in managing anxiety is grounding exercises. Grounding is a technique that helps you reconnect with the present moment and bring your focus away from the anxious thoughts and feelings. that may be overwhelming you. One simple grounding exercise is to focus on your 5 senses. Take a moment to observe your surroundings. What do you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste? This exercise can instantly bring you into the present moment, helping you detach from anxious thoughts and refocus on the here and now. Grounding techniques are powerful because they redirect your mind from future worries or past regrets and anchor you in the present, where anxiety cannot thrive. Emotional release methods are also key when healing anxiety. Often, anxiety is the result of trapped emotions, unresolved stress, or trauma. By learning how to release these pent-up emotions, you can begin to relieve the burden of anxiety. Techniques such as journaling, expressive writing, or talking with a therapist can help you process and release these emotions. Sometimes, simply naming your feelings, identifying the specific source of your anxiety, can help you release their power over you. By acknowledging and expressing these emotions in a safe and healthy way, you release their grip, allowing you to regain control over your emotional state. It's important to recognize that healing anxiety is not a one-time fix, but an ongoing process. It's about learning how to manage it in a way that doesn't consume you. By developing these tools and techniques, you create a toolkit for when anxiety arises. The goal is not to eliminate anxiety completely, as it is a natural part of life, but to learn how to manage it so that it doesn't rule your life. The more you practice these techniques, the more empowered you feel. Anxiety no longer has to be a barrier to your happiness or success. It can be a signal for change and growth. The beauty of these techniques is that they are not just ways to cope with anxiety, they are ways to empower yourself. By learning to regulate your mind and body, you create a new relationship with anxiety. Instead of being controlled by it, you take charge and transform it into an opportunity for growth and self-awareness. With each step, you break free from the cycle of worry and fear and begin to live a life that is balanced, calm, and empowered. Healing anxiety is not about simply trying to eliminate it, but rather learning to manage it and transform your relationship with it. One of the most empowering aspects of healing is understanding that anxiety doesn't have to control your life. Instead, with the right tools and techniques, you can break free from its hold and take charge of your emotional and mental state. One of the most effective methods for doing this is through cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which helps you change the negative thought patterns that fuel your anxiety. This technique enables you to see that many of the fears you experience are based on distorted thinking, and by addressing these thoughts, you can significantly reduce the power anxiety has over you. CBT works by focusing on the way your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected. The core idea behind CBT is that it's not external events that cause anxiety, but how you interpret and react to those events. Often, we create stories in our minds about potential worst-case scenarios, and this catastrophic thinking triggers intense feelings of anxiety. For example, if you have an important meeting, you might immediately think, "I'm going to mess up," or "What if I get fired?" These thoughts can cause a rush of panic, even though the situation itself might not warrant such extreme feelings. CBT helps you challenge these thoughts and replace them with more balanced, realistic ones. Through CBT, you begin to notice the patterns in your thinking that contribute to anxiety. When you catch yourself making these exaggerated assumptions, you can ask yourself, "What evidence do I have to support this thought?" Or, "What is the worst that could happen and how likely is it?" By questioning these beliefs, you begin to weaken the grip they have on your emotions. With practice, you start shifting your mental framework, and the anxiety you once experienced in certain situations becomes more manageable. CBT doesn't just offer a temporary solution. It provides a lifelong tool for understanding and shifting your thoughts to help reduce anxiety in a sustainable way. In addition to CBT, grounding exercises offer a powerful way to break the cycle of anxiety. Grounding is about bringing your attention to the present moment, redirecting it from worries about the future or ruminations about the past. It's easy to get caught up in a whirlwind of anxious thoughts, but grounding helps you anchor yourself in the here and now, breaking the cycle of excessive worrying. Grounding exercises can be as simple as focusing on the 5 senses: what you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. When you start tuning into your environment, it becomes much harder to dwell on the anxious thoughts that are swirling around in your mind. Grounding doesn't make the anxiety disappear, but it does provide a temporary sense of relief by redirecting your attention and calming your nervous system.